This is awkward occurrence or awkward entertainment. So we're going to get into the Barry Morphew Affidavit. I've taken a couple of snippets from the affidavit. I've read maybe 20 something pages so far. There's 131 pages. So these snippets are going to be from the first 19 pages. Very interesting. It is very interesting. The affidavit is very entertaining. It reads like a book. A mystery book, a drama book, a Lifetime Network book. It reads like a book. So it's very entertaining. But let's get into a comment Barry made to the police when they approached him in 2020 or 2021 about Suzanne Morphew having an extramarital affair. So when police approached Barry, they told him Suzanne was having an affair with a buddy from Indiana. Now, this buddy Suzanne had an affair with, she met back in college at a party. So this guy was invited to a party at Suzanne's house. They hit it off at her house. At the same time, her and Barry were still dating. Now, I'm not sure if they had any type of sex during that time in college, but they hit it off way back then because this was Suzanne's college days. So they got married in 85, so this had to be in the late 80s, early 90s when Suzanne met this guy at a party. So Barry said to the police when he was approached and told about Suzanne's affair, "I'm not saying he did it to punish Suzanne. He will be God." He's talking about God when he say he. "I'm not saying he did it to punish Suzanne because of her affair, but it makes more sense than what I knew before you guys came today." Now this stood out to me because it just sounds crazy for a husband to say this. What did Barry know beforehand, before the police told him your wife was having an affair on the side? If you look through the first 19 pages of the affidavit, I've only been through maybe 19, 21 pages of the 131 page affidavit. If you look through it, you will see Barry was kind of suspecting Suzanne of cheating or seeing someone. Kinda. But Suzanne had always suspected Barry of cheating or having an affair, even in Indiana. But there's no evidence to suggest Barry was having an affair in Indiana, or suggest he was having an affair before 2021, because in 2021, the police caught Barry on camera at a hotel with a lady. I forget the lady's name, or with a mistress. But let's continue. Now, in this comment, is Barry saying he thinks God punished Suzanne for having an affair by killing her, or having someone kill her or kidnap her? Because Suzanne Morphew's body has never been found, at least not yet. But she is suspected to be dead. Or is Barry saying, when Barry says, "It makes more sense than what I knew before you guys came today," is he saying Suzanne's actions throughout the years, especially the past 2 years, 2018, 2019, 2020, her actions make more sense now that he knows she was cheating and it was verified by the police? Or it makes more sense that God put her in that situation to be kidnapped and killed, even though he's suspected of killing his own wife? All right. So let's get into this video. Now, this is a photo of Suzanne that she sent her lover on the side. His name is Jeff Libler. I may be saying his name wrong. Libler. So this is a photo she sent him on WhatsApp. Let's get into the video. It's going to be very short. I'm going to commentate on it.
Is now out of jail on bond. Barry Morphew walking out, as you see there earlier today.
For the first time in more than 4 months, Barry Morphew is out of jail tonight after posting a $500,000 bond. It comes.
Barry, how does it feel?
Barry Morphew was flanked by his family. His mother and sister were there, but closest to his side were his 2 daughters.
Now, one thing I don't understand is why the girls are side by side with him like that, and they have big, huge smiles on their face. Of course, they may be happy to see their dad, and they haven't seen him in months, and they love him. But knowing what they knew about their relationship, knowing what they knew about their mom and dad's relationship, how can they still stand by their dad? And being that their mom is still missing, how can they smile arm in arm, escort him from the police station to the truck? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Well, let's continue.
While Barry is smiling, you can see his youngest daughter is beaming. The family ended up driving around the back side of the jail shortly after, where they continued to finalize details of his bond. While they offered no comment, the entire time you can see Morphew and his daughters appeared to be elated.
Just a sad note, one of these girls was supposed to be in high school. I don't know, 11th, 12th grade. They may have graduated by now, 11th, 12th grade. None of these girls look like they're in high school. They really don't. But let's look at the smiles on their face as they walk with their dad, who's accused of murdering their mom.
His daughters have been by his side since his arrest, about 4.5.
All right, let's get into this. And this is about Martin Ritter. In a separate interview, Martin Ritter that Barry said he was at, Martin Ritter would be the neighbor. So one of the daughters called the neighbor to go check on their mom. That would be Martin Ritter's wife, who went to go check on the mom. Now, there was a reason I put this piece into there. Yeah, Barry Morphew told police he drove back to the hotel to drop off tools for the workers. But when police pulled the video from the Holiday Inn from the hotel, they did not see Barry Morphew on camera dropping off any type of tools. That would be described in the last sentence. Barry also told CBI agents multiple times that he was at the Vera worksite in Vroomsville, Colorado. When he received that call and had to drive, that call would be his wife was not at home, her bike is not there. He had to drive to his hotel to drop his tools off for the workers. The Broomville Hotel video, however, disproved those assertions by Barry. So the video at the hotel doesn't show Barry doing what he said he did. But again, you have his daughters walking hand in hand, smiling like the sun is, smiling bright as the sun is yellow. Now this is about the bike crash when the sergeants, detectives, when the police came to the scene to look at the bike. They saw no indications of a crash. The vegetation around the bike was not flattened, meaning if Suzanne did have an accident, she would have flipped over the bike. Parts of the grass would have been flattened, showing a body had landed there. So there was no sign of a body of accident landing in that area. There was no blood around the bike. There was no apparent damage to the bike. And they say, due to the steepness of the incline going down that ravine, the bike should have been torn up. There should have been some type of damage to the bike. There should have been some sign a body was there. Deputy Brown moved the bike up the path, and he noticed the brake pad was seized and the handlebars were turned completely to the left, causing the bike cables to wrap around the bike frame. Let's continue. The deputy also did not observe any brake marks from the bicycle. So if you've been following the case, we know that the bike theory, she crashed. She was drugged off by a lion. We know that was a lie. Kind of knew that from the beginning because her body didn't show up nowhere. No blood, no lion eating her body, no torn body pieces. This is continuing on about the bike and about what Deputy Brown and Sergeant Molinats saw. Now, this states they walked a few hundred yards along a ravine where the bike was found. Of course, they found nothing. Sergeant dispatched a ping. This is also stating they pinged Suzanne's phone. And on the ping, nothing was found. On the ping, nothing was found. Now, this is the interesting part. While Sergeant Molinats was by the bike, Blank approached him and identified himself as the boyfriend of Suzanne's daughter, Blank. He confirmed that the bike belonged to Suzanne. As Sergeant Molinats examined the bike, he found no scratches or damage to it. So if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, forgive me. Molinats. Maybe Molinats. Now, what's strange to me is one of Barry's daughters, their boyfriend, came to the scene of the accident and told the police that's Suzanne's bike. So was one of Suzanne's daughter's boyfriend just riding around, happened to see police, just being nosy, walked up to police and said that's the bike? Because nobody called Barry's daughter's boyfriend. Nobody called him. So what was he doing in the area is what I want to know. This is just strange to me. It is strange how this story is written. That is strange to me. Honestly, it makes me think, was Barry working alone? Was he working alone and making Suzanne disappear? It just so happens, oh, here comes his daughter's boyfriend. I'm like, dude, what are you doing at the crime scene? How do you even know what we're here for? And then you approached us and told us that's the bike. You came down a ravine to approach us to tell us that's the bike. Like, who called you out there? Or who called anyone? Who knew that we were out here looking at the bike? Because Barry hadn't got there yet. The daughters weren't there. I doubt the daughters knew the bike was out there to call their boyfriend. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. So at about 8:42 p.m., Barry arrived at the scene in a truck by himself. He walked up to the bike and touched it, and he identified the bike as Suzanne's also. Let's continue. So they did ping Suzanne's phone. They did call around to hospitals. She was not at the hospitals. With the ping, they couldn't get an exact location of where the ping of the phone was coming from. Either way, they still did not find her body in the past year. This is Gene Ritter. This is the neighbor. This is Gene Ritter. Now, the thing about this, let me go and say this. Let me read it. Because when Barry told Gene Ritter to go check on his wife, he also told her to call 911. So I'm scrolling, I'm on the first paragraph, about the third sentence. Barry asked Gene to look for Suzanne's bicycle and call 911 if she didn't locate Suzanne. Gene returned to the house for a second time. The first time Gene went over there, knocked on the door. She didn't check for a bike. No one answered the door. She went back, talked to Barry. Barry said, go back. If you don't see the bike, call 911. I don't understand. If you don't see the bike, maybe Suzanne is out biking. Because this was 4 in the afternoon. In this affidavit, they stated Suzanne does take afternoon bike rides. So why would you call the police right away? Also, it hadn't been 48 hours to report a person missing. But the first time I believe Gene talked to Suzanne's daughter asked Gene to go over there. Then she talked to Barry the second time, and Barry said, "Go back, look for a bike. If you don't see it, call 911 and report her missing." So Sergeant spoke with Jean Ritter, who confirmed that Blank contacted her. That would be the daughter. They scratched out the daughter's name in this, so you're not gonna know which is which daughter. Who confirmed that Blank contacted her and Martin Ritter by telephone on May 10th at approximately 4 and 4:30 p.m. She could not reach Suzanne. The daughter asked them to go to the house and check on Suzanne. Okay, so they don't blank out Barry's name. They just blank out the daughter's name. So the daughter asked Jean to go to the house to check on Suzanne. And Jean went to the house. She did not locate Suzanne at the house, so she called Barry and told him what happened. Barry asked Jean to look for Suzanne's bicycle and called 911 if she didn't locate Suzanne. So Jean went back to the house, didn't see the bicycle. She did as Barry instructed her and called 911. So Martin called 911 to report. Martin would be the husband, to report Suzanne was missing. Then Jean went back to leave a few notes on the door for Suzanne in case Suzanne came home. Again, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to tell this woman to call 911 if her bike is missing. It's 4:30 in the afternoon, and plus it hasn't been 48 hours. Just another inconsistency, another awkwardness, and whoever wrote this story or affidavit or came up with this. Let's continue. And I keep saying story because, well, this is written like a story. This affidavit is written like a story. If you go through it and read it yourself, it reads like a book, and it reads like a good book. Like a good book. Parts of it don't make sense, but don't make sense. So let's continue. Now, this is about the daughters. Sergeants, deputies, officers spoke with the daughters. The daughters weren't so upfront the first time. The second time, they were more upfront about their parents' relationship. So Sergeant, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try. Spoke with Blank. That would be one of the daughters. So I'm going to say Macy or Mallory on the blanks. Sergeant spoke with Macy or Mallory on May 11th, and Macy or Mallory confirmed that Suzanne wrote religious devotions in a journal. When asked to describe her bedding at the Murphy's house, Blank said that her bedding is always made, her sheets and pillowcase. It was just something strange about one of the bedrooms. The bedding was missing. Police noticed, but that was just something strange. Let me get to the part. Now, there's an interesting part in this that made me put this part of the affidavit in the video. Okay, Sergeant spoke with, I'm on the second paragraph. Sergeant spoke with Macy or Mallory on May 11th and admitted that her parents argued a lot and that she feared they would separate or divorce. Now, before May 11th, one of the daughters stated their relationship was great. And there was no animosity. But the next day, they spoke to one of the daughters again and they admitted, there was strife in the relationship. The daughter said they were not doing well, and it was best they would separate. Blank reported that day Barry and Suzanne were both in an unsafe place emotionally. Now, this goes back to the video of Barry with his daughters coming out the police station. Okay, the daughters know that their relationship is just finished. It just finished. They know they argue. Did they say they spoke about divorce? Yeah, one of the daughters feared they would separate or divorce. So your mom goes missing. Throughout the whole process before your dad was arrested, he's been painted as the suspect. He gets arrested. Maybe they didn't know why he got arrested because they didn't read the affidavit. They didn't have the affidavit to look at evidence. But they meet him at the police station, big smiles, hand in hand, arms around each other's waist, and get into the car. Like, They don't suspect they're dead at this point. At this point in time, when you went to the police station, you don't suspect your dad had anything to do with your mother being missing, even though he was arrested. You don't, like, why are you at the police station smiling hand in hand? Let's continue. Let me read through this. Now, this goes on to say they argued, they get into fights. They both had just not felt safe at some point. Blank added as Suzanne. Now, when they say both haven't felt safe at some point, I guess Suzanne and maybe one of her daughters. When Blank was discussing if she had ever seen any text messages on her parents' phone, she advised that she does not ever look through their phones. When Mallory or Macy was asked if there was a possibility that their mom had left home because she did not feel safe, Mallory or Macy said she would never leave home. She would never leave home without telling them, is what they said to the police. She would have contacted her and her sister to let them know she was okay. Let's continue. And so the girls went out of town on a trip a couple days before Mother's Day. During the pandemic, strange. Now this talks about the daughter sending Suzanne a text message on Mother's Day, wishing her happy Mother's Day. This talks more about them trying to contact Suzanne, and Barry asked the daughter to let him know if she later on was able to reach Suzanne. So Barry tried to call Suzanne on Mother's Day. Suzanne didn't pick up. Barry called his daughter. His daughter said, well, no, I haven't talked to her. She hasn't picked up. So Barry informed his daughter, well, let me know if you talk to her. Goes on to talk about the mountain bike, how Suzanne would take a trip regularly during the afternoon hours to go bike riding. Okay, now, I got the slide backwards. I'm on the second paragraph. When Blank was asked if there was any concerns with their parents' relationship, she denied it. Any concerns or issues in a relationship, so that would be Macy or Mallory. When asked if there's any reason Suzanne may lead an error, she denied that. Let's continue. She denied it at first, then they had another interview, then she admitted there were fights and speculation of divorce and them being apart. Let's continue on. Now this is about interview. Sheila Oliver. Sheila Oliver. This is a friend of Suzanne, best friend of Suzanne. Now, Sheila said she received a Snapchat message from Suzanne, and that Suzanne had basically confessed that she was having problems with Barry, that Barry was abusive to her, and Sheila was surprised that Suzanne told her that. So the message reads March 25th, 2020. Taking care of myself physically in a stressful marriage, and I had a very tough talk yesterday. He's wary of the tension here, talking about Barry. She knows how he is towards me and almost begged me to divorce him. She knows, I don't know who she is. I'm thinking that's one of the daughters. Oh, okay. No, Sheila is the best friend. There's somebody else involved in this that Suzanne wasn't close with. Let's continue. I can't believe it's been 24 minutes. It's already been 24 minutes, so I'm going to try to run through the rest of this. But these are text messages. Suzanne went back and forth with Sheila because Suzanne was going to watch a wedding of her best friend's daughter. She was going to watch that wedding on May 10th. It never happened because Suzanne went missing, so she wasn't able to watch. She talks about Barry. It's Jekyll and Hyde again, pretty much told him I can't be healthy and stay in this. Sheila asks, what did he say? He threatens to come home and pack. And when she tells Barry, I don't want to be in this relationship, I want a divorce, he threatens to come home and pack. My thing is, why didn't he come home and pack and just leave her? Like, why did he get rid? I don't know why he got rid of her. I guess it benefited him more monetarily to get rid of her than to just leave and pack. Because Barry received an inheritance of over 200 grand, and Suzanne received an inheritance of over 200 grand. I guess they put their money together to start a business and to buy that house. He won't speak of divorce, begging for another chance. I'm so torn, but in my heart, I know who he is. Sheila told detectives she was concerned about Barry's behavior. She purchased a spy pen for Suzanne. She gave it to Suzanne in January 2020. Police were able to lift audio off of that spy pen. Let's continue. Okay, now, Bayunkma is somebody else that Suzanne knew but wasn't very close to. She believes Barry was a narcissistic husband. Bookmont described Barry as one who lives a double life, a liar, adulterer. I mean, it come to find out Suzanne was also an adulterer. Barry was a bully, one that has to have control, cunning, fools people a lot, loves money, and treats his wife and daughters as trophies. Bootmont thought it was unusual for Macy and Mallory to take a road trip on Mother's Day weekend. I thought that was suspicious too. So suspicious. I don't think they have anything to do with their mother being missing. I don't think the story's going to go that way. But they're hugging their dad, smiling, like carefree, like their dad is so innocent. Like they knew their parents was arguing. I don't know if they knew the mom was cheating, but they knew their parents were arguing that there was going to be a possible divorce. The mother goes missing, and you're treating your dad like he's like a king when he comes out of jail. So the reason I put this slide in here because one of Suzanne's friends noticed that it was strange for the daughters to go on a trip on Mother's Day weekend, and being that there's a pandemic. And this talks about Suzanne's relationship with Libler. Yeah, I said Libler, or Jeff Libler. So around 2008, Suzanne found Libler on a LinkedIn account and sent a message with words to the effect of, "I'm worried and sick about you. Are you okay?" Before 2018, they had talked. Again, I stated at the beginning of the video, they kind of hooked up back in the late 80s, early 90s at Suzanne's house at a party. They kind of hooked up. Barry found out about them hooking up later on, like later on. Barry was working at a golf course. Libler was playing golf. He got off. Barry was on a tractor or on some type of machine. He got off the machine, approached Libler, threatened Libler. Libler said, "You better not try nothing. You're gonna lose your job." So Barry backed away, and in that altercation. So I'm on the third paragraph. Suzanne and Libler communicated regularly from late 2018 through May 9th, 2020. So before 2018, again, they have found each other online, and they were just talking. Then they stopped talking because Libler is married with a couple of kids, so he didn't want to seem like a cheater. But they hooked up, got back up again on LinkedIn on May 9th, 2020, and she provided him with numerous reasons why she wanted to leave Barry. Between February 2019 and February 2020, Libler and Suzanne met each other in New Orleans, Florida, Indianapolis, Michigan, Dallas, and again in Florida. During the last 5 trips, they stayed in hotels, talked and shared meals, and had consensual sex. Libler has not traveled